Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to conclude our senior road tax heats. 2 races to go. Zach Clamandamello back up here in the commentary box with me. Lewis Gilbert and Matthew Higgins on road number 1. Mika van der Pavert and Elia Papachena on road 2. Paul Hamburg and Tommy van der Struijs on road 3. Vic Stevens and Max Walton on road 4. Charles Visser and Oliver Hodgson round out your top 10. Hodgson drove up the second in his earlier heat today. Pietro Valto Pons and Austin Gale, the older of the 2 Gale brothers, they round out your 6th row. George Kafataris and Futa Kojima are next, followed by Mehdi Lassoud and Nolan Lamore, and all French 8th row. Carpo Yu and Timothy Pernot are there. Theo Eriksson and Luca Schlegel are next. Diego Ramos starts 21st alongside Gustav Usakovs from Latvia. Then it's Kent Schwartz, he retired earlier on. Ethan Thorne from Peru is next. Enzo Prando from Brazil and the Chinese Taipei lady Zihan Cho. Spencer Braum and Peter Abu Keita are on row number 14. Thiago Diaz and Juan Felipe Ardilla are next. Then it's Alex Schigel, Ethan Delgado, Clayton Mizzi, Ratcharat, Anathan Arkan, and the final row, Miguel Quinones and Dalton Haynes once again. Zach, you saw in the junior races, you see the Team Sweden there, business picks up significantly, a lot more elbows out, a lot more desperate moves. For some drivers, it's now or never.
Yeah, some of the guys, as I said earlier, know now that they've had a bad one or maybe not, but here's their chance to move up their position or make the final. So it's the final heat. Everyone's getting their elbows out. They know what they got to do. And by the way, Henry, Oliver was promoted to that heat win in the last one. So now, you know, he's trying to be calm and get one more heat win after I spoke to him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I haven't got the results after the penalties up here, but no, thank you very much, Zach. And my spies in the paddock are there all over the place. Lights are out. We're off and racing. It's a great start from Lewis Gilbert, and Matthew Higgins slots into second. Everybody piling around turn number 1. All 36 drivers going into turn number 2. And again, we're seeing a lot. Very calm opening lap there, even though for some drivers it is a desperation time kicking in, and there's a South African driver, I think Kent Schwartz, might be on the outside of the circuit there, getting out of the car. Oh, it's not gone well. No, that was actually Charles Visser, who was on the way out of the race, our first retiree. But yeah, a good clean start. This is what the Team UK now needs. Papachena in 3rd place, trying to pull away.
Yeah, these UK boys have been strong all week. They obviously got their stuff down packed in Rotax, and they're all great drivers. But it's every time they're out front, you can expect a good fight. They know when to defend and know when to kind of group up the bunch and make it a fight.
Well, yeah, you see about when people say about how you back the pack up, what do we mean when we say you're backing the pack up? How do you do that driving one of these senior Rotax cars?
See, there's a strategy that if you know the guy behind you is quicker, then it may be beneficial at times to kind of back him up into the group by defending and covering the white line, parking that go-kart at the apex and making that guy lose a bit of time so you could get a gap and breathe easy while they start to fight the group behind, and you could get that gap, which is what we all hope for, but it doesn't always come to fruition.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You can see Higgins, there's no way he's not going anywhere near the racing line right now. He's not, hugging the white line, but he is centre track. And of course, you can just see now this train of Sodi carts here. Gilbert Papachena, Tommy van der Struijs in 4th position. Then he's got Mika van der Pavert, his countryman there from Holland. Then it's Paul Hamburg from Estonia, Vic Stevens, Max Walton, Hodgson in 9th. Georgios Kafantaris is 10th. They're all together. The first gap, Mehdi Lassoud, Timothy Pernot, Austin Gale, not 1.9 seconds cover the top 13 as we start lap number 13. Well, now that and there is Georgios Kafantaris riding up over the back of Oliver Hodgson. What's Oliver now hoping that hasn't happened? You saw the car come over the back of him. What could that knock off? Because I can hear an exhaust getting very loud.
That's exactly what he didn't want. Let's hope that's not Oliver, because he's been showing strong pace all week, and when I spoke to him, he believed he actually had a bit more, and Could have fought for that win, but Oliver, being the smart driver he is, tried to back them into the group.
I think that Oliver Hodgson's exhaust is sounding somewhat throaty. There's definitely, so we'll try and see. There's probably an Alpha Live bonus in it for the cameraman who can spot if Oliver Hodgson's exhaust is hang off. He is dropping back from this lead group. You won't see him come into the pits, but there is something that is not factory spec.
As the driver, you always hope they don't notice that it's your exhaust that's off.
But
know. Oh, yeah, that's quite loud when it came by us, Henry.
Yes, but here we go. Now, I was going to say, at what point did Matt Higgins stop being so defensive and start to stretch the field out, or does he?
With the group the way it is right now, I don't think you're going to see him calm down just yet, or open up the line just yet. I mean, he knows that it could just be 6 cars that pass him and not one. As you see now, it looks like he's going somewhat defensive again.
Yeah. You could see Elia Papachena in 3rd place pointing towards him. Now
you got to be careful with that, Henry, because I always do that and then go for the pass. You know, these drivers aren't always the most trustworthy people.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we see. Can I trust you? Can I trust you? You now know that. Well, you're not fully retired yet. So actually,
partially.
Partially retired. But yeah, sometimes when a driver says, "It's okay, I work with you,"
let's go. Then you open up and they send it down your inside. You know, so you got to be careful about that too. At the end of the day, all these guys, and you could see it by the way they're racing, are out there for themselves to win this massive event that we're at right now.
Now it breaks out. Gilbert to the outside. Higgins trying to take the outside line in turn number 2. Gilbert leads. And this is what Matthew Higgins didn't want. He's got to stay on the outside of Tommy van der Stroys. Van der Stroys, I think, went over the grass there. Yes, he did. Now that creates a bottleneck effect further back. Mika van der Peevet, the van der Stroys, Austin Gale, all in that group. Looking back there, Dalton Haynes, 21st. He has already picked up 15 positions, has the real deal Dalton Haynes. Hodgson is still out there. We can hear him, but that kart will gradually be losing power, won't it?
The back pressure is going to go away if it's his exhaust that's off, and he's going to be holding on for dear life at this point. I mean, we actually see the meatball flag right now.
Oh, yes.
I'm not sure which driver.
307, it is Oliver Hodgson.
Henry, yeah, you were correct.
So he's going to have to
pit.
That
is heartbreak for him.
Yep, he's have to pit the race. You'll see that on the board there. And, there's some moves going in. Now Gilbert, Higgins around the outside, Hodgson pits. And you can see already that there's an exhaust not in the correct position. Higgins back in the lead. The order is now Higgins, Gilbert, Papachena, Vic Stevens in 4th. Now it's Paul Hamburg, Mehdi Lasoud. Then a gap back to Austin Gale, Timothy Pinot, Tommy van der Stroys and Max Walton. So we're down to 2, 4, 6 for the race lead now, and Elia Papachena for Italy. The Italians haven't had a huge amount to cheer for at their home grand finals.
And he makes a send.
And that sends Vic Stevens off. You could see Papachena just sort of getting in far too deep.
Yeah, and that's the way it goes. Sometimes it's...
He was committed to the move, but then he just ran out of track. Yeah. But also we could see that, there was a whole swarm of carts coming across. He probably got the back end out there to avoid just cannoning into the side of someone.
I mean, it's interesting to see. You see the front guys who aren't necessarily doing the fastest laps, but leading the race. And that may be because they're defending and focusing on different things. I mean,
a lot of the fastest laps. Pietro Valdo Pons has the fastest lap, and he's 18th.
Exactly. So those people can get a gap, and that whole group in 18th, they don't want to be in 18th, obviously. So they're trying to move forward, and that gives you an opportunity to do a bit of a faster lap. Whereas those front guys are more focusing on holding position as opposed to doing that best lap right now.
Yeah. Now Diego Ramos is up into 13th position. Dalton Haynes up to 16th place.
Great to see that. I spoke to Dalton before the race, and the only advice I was able to offer, having done this race a few times, was Dalton, you need a bigger first lap. You got the pace to be there, but the first lap when they're all bunched up is where you could do it. And obviously, I'm not taking credit for it, but Dalton showed that this race and sent it forward, which is what I love to see from him.
Yeah, exactly. Aggression is one thing, but of course, when you talk, I would say you're one of the kings of, you and Calabracho are the kings of psychology in a race. Yeah, I'll say I'll work with you. Oh dear, there's the number 343 of Max Walton off track. Here we go. Battle up at the front. Gilbert, was that the 343? Yes, it was. It was Max Walton. But yeah, there we go. Gilbert now leading. Mehdi Lassoud from France is up into second place. Then it's Higgins, Hamburg and Papachena. The lead group is down to 5. It's been slowly whittled down and whittled down.
Yep.
But yeah, psychology is all important, isn't it?
You know, this this karting, you know, it's
Well,
so
it's a
much
sport,
more
it's a
than
game,
just
yeah.
driving around fast. You know, it's the racecraft. It's the only sport in the world where the stars, the sun, the moon have to align in the same day for you to win. Whether you're perfect and your equipment's not, or vice versa, it's very tough to win here. So, and you could also play mind games. I've always done that on the grid. You know, I watched a lot of other sports, and that's been a big part of my racing career. And Callum's obviously a master of that as well.
Yep.
And when, you know, Callum's starting behind you or someone like me, you think a bit differently maybe going into that first lap or into that start and try to play those head games.
Yeah, you have to build a reputation, you know.
Yeah.
Here we go. Gilbert on the final lap now, leading Mehdi Lassoud. Third is Elia Papachena. Gilbert
Dalton just cracked the top 10 as well.
Dalton just cracked the top 10, up in the 10th place by Kent Schwartz. Great results. Here we go then, down the back, straight into turn 7 for the final time. Gilbert, Masood, Papachena, Hamburg is there. Austin Gale for Thailand. A couple of drivers coming to grief there earlier on. And Marshall's running. Here we go. This is the last group. Can Scotland's Lewis Gilbert hang on? Mehdi Lassoud will send it in deep. Gilbert on the anchors. Higgins trying to go around the outside. Austin Gale is there. They come out to the final corner. Gilbert is he going to hang on?
And he does.
Yes.
A guy who wasn't supposed to be here a week just picked up another heat win. So.
Exactly. The guy that was not supposed to be here.
Gilbert deserves to be here, but you know what I mean. He's shown more than he was supposed to already, so he must be feeling in a good place going into that final.
Yeah, and what Lewis Gilbert said to me, he said, you know what, I'm so glad that at Le Mans, in the International Trophy, I really got my head down and chased after Ethan Jeff Hall. I could have just think, well, there's only a ticket for the winner. Ethan's too far ahead, and he could have lost his head and ended up finishing third.
And
but
how encouraging must that be to Gilbert for the guy who you lost out to, ended up becoming the world champion this year in a different series. You know, obviously these guys are world champions as well, but. He knows the guy who beat him just got picked up by the Ferrari Academy, as you said earlier, Henry. So there's no shame in that, and he's making the best of his opportunity now.
Exactly. Diego Ramos falling to 20th there. Dalton Haynes 9th on the last lap. Right, that, ladies and gentlemen, is the biggest move of the grand finals so far. The real deal Dalton Haynes, 36th to 9th in 9 laps. A gain of 27 positions. He's been working, he's done a lot of work with Bas Lammers, and he is now up at the front. There's Matt Higgins going through. Big hello to everyone back home in the UK, part of the British broadcasting team that are watching that. I know that one member of our broadcasting team back in the UK is a big Matthew Higgins fan.